All right, we are live for another episode of Real Estate Junkies podcast. Today we have an interview with Nakia Evans. She's a dynamic personality. She's a realtor, she's a speaker, educator, and a business coach with over 22 years of experience in the real estate industry. Nakia has made a significant impact at eXp Realty and is known for her exceptional leadership in team building and real estate management. In this episode, we are going to explore how Nakia has harnessed the power of manifesting her dreams to achieve success and how you can apply these principles to your own real estate career. Whether you are an agent, team leader, or a broker, or a business owner, this conversation is packed with insights to help you reach your goals. So you don't want to miss out on this conversation. Tune in with us and learn how to turn your dreams into reality. Nakia, it's a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Well, I am excited to be here. I am thankful. I'm grateful that you chose me to be on your podcast. So this
Love
is
it.
going to be exciting. I couldn't sleep just waiting to talk to you and chat in front of the whole world.
Yes, for sure. And I hope we can add some value to the community with this conversation. So tell us what initially drew you to real estate. Like that's the conversation I usually like to have with everyone. Doesn't matter how big you have gotten or how if you're getting started. Is how did you start your career in the industry? How what was your journey like?
Well, somebody tapped me on my shoulder. I purchased a home. It was my second home at the time. I was 28 years
Mm,
old, and I purchased my first house at 23. Then I
mm,
purchased my second home at 28. While during that purchase, the real estate agent was working for me, but I was also working for me. I was doing a lot of research. I'm the type of person that if I'm in the middle of something, I have to know everything about it. So
yeah.
I researched everything. I found myself loan programs. I found myself money. I found myself into a construction loan, a conventional construction loan, because I purchased a house that needed to be fixed up. And by the time we finished that transaction, the real estate agent was like, I think you should get a real estate license. You might be good at this. And so I'm also that person. I take advice
Yeah.
from people I respect, from people I love. I take advice. And when they tell me something, I'm like, I think about it. And then I'm like, yeah, this might work. So I went to real estate school and I got my license that same year. I settled on my house in March and I had my real estate license in July, believe it or not.
Wow. That is crazy. Wow,
Yeah,
you
it
went
was
on a mission.
fast. I didn't
Yeah.
have time to change my mind at all.
So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced as a new real estate agent and how did you navigate through those tough times?
Oh, this is a good one. So,
Yeah.
even though I did all that research into getting the license, I didn't do research into running a business. I thought
Uh-huh.
you just get a real estate license. A friend said, hey, I want to buy a house. You meet with that friend, you show them some houses, and you got a check. Okay. I thought that's how it went. And also, I maintained a full-time career. I was a state employee. I was a judge's
Also, you
assistant.
had a full-time job at the time.
Yes. So I had a full-time job at the time. I worked for the state of Maryland. I was a judge's assistant. I typed up all the court orders and, this, that, and another. But I got the license and I did not think of it as a business. And that was my first mistake. And
Mm.
that was the longest mistake of my life because I didn't find out it was a business until way later in
Wow.
2015 is when I found out it was a business. So between 2002 and 2014, I had only sold about 6 homes, but I always did my continuing education and I always renewed that license and I always belonged to an association
Mm.
or a board. So basically, I invested a lot of money into something I really didn't know about.
Yeah.
So these days, when I help people get into this career path, I make sure that they know that they're walking into a business.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of education, sitting in not just continuing education, but development,
Yeah.
professional development, and personal
Mm.
development is going to be
Yeah.
key as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is what we see consistently, either agents getting into business, or agents that are been in business for 20 years plus and still struggling, is because they're not taking this as a business. Either they have taken this as a job where they're expecting they're going to clock in and clock out and they're going to come out successful, or they have taken it as something that will get them income, kind of like a side hustle, or a source of income, or they're taking that as a sales job, right? Like a little bit
Mhm.
more than a job, but like, oh, when I want income, I just go out there, put myself out there in front of my friends and family and people that I know, and I get some referrals and I close those deals. I got income and I'm good for a while, and then I go back to doing that again when I need money, right? Not really thinking of it like, okay, I have to last in this for 10 years. So I have to build authority. I have to build knowability, likability, trustability. I have to build a business pipeline. Like, what, deals I'm going to close next year has to be produced today, right? Like, has to be produced now, so that way I would have those deals next year, right? So definitely a great lesson to take from that journey you have had. Now, what was interesting is like something about you. Like when I met you in Charlotte, I was like, I gotta talk to her, and I did approach you, and we talked, and then you ended up on the stage. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, and you talked about manifesting, right? Like, how has the concept of manifesting your dreams played a role in your journey to success? Like,
Mhm.
both personally or professionally in this business.
Yeah. So I believe, first I'm gonna tell you this. I believe that your personal and your professional is like side by side and
Mm.
sometimes intertwined.
Yeah.
Okay. So when people try to separate that, it's I'm like, that's delusional that you can separate that.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
gotta intermingle that. So let me start there first. Manifesting to me, I was in direct sales and network marketing, and I heard a coach say, put yourself where you see yourself. And that's
Mm.
my definition of manifesting. That's
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the extreme measure, by the way.
Yeah.
Put yourself where you see yourself. But writing down goals, believe it or not, is manifesting.
Yeah.
Thinking
Yeah.
out the action plan to reach the goals is
Mm.
manifestation. People don't look at manifestation like that. They just think manifestation is some kind of magical. I'm gonna talk to myself in the mirror and
Yeah.
things are gonna pop out, or I'm gonna pray my way to. Now,
Yeah.
all of that is inclusive, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
manifesting really is a vision. It's something
Mm.
that a visionary, or you have to be a visionary person to do. Again, put yourself where you see yourself. So if every day you're thinking, you're dreaming, you're operating as.
Yeah.
So I operated as this,
Mm.
come that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's manifestation to me. Or I talk it out.
Yeah.
When people hear me talking to myself, sometimes they like, are you talking to yourself? I am. I'm my best friend. Yes, I got to think this out. We got to work it out, right?
Yeah.
We got to talk about this. I'm having a board meeting, okay? Listen, your business. I'm having a board meeting with my best friend. This is how we work. It's really talking it out, really saying what you want out loud, putting it into
Mm.
the atmosphere, going for it. Because you can't just talk about it. Okay, a lot of people think manifestation is talking about it, seeing
Yeah.
it, writing it down.
Mm.
No, you have to develop a plan. Sometimes it takes extreme measures. Sometimes it takes failing with velocity. We heard that at Build, right?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it takes just really going out there, really going above and beyond anything you thought you could do. Is manifestation to me. It's so many meanings. Like I really have a plan for myself. I have a vision for myself. I saw what I wanted to do when I was like 19 years old, when I was 20 years old. I
Mm.
knew that I wanted to have a different lifestyle when I was 40, when I was 50, when I was 60. I didn't want the regular
Mm.
life that I'd seen, generational curses, or
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of
The
thing. I
change.
didn't want to be the 9 to 5 employee that I seen my mom, my aunts. I didn't want to work 9 to 5 all my life and then just have fun in the evening and the weekends. I see that in people, and they're not really having a good time at life.
Yeah.
They're really not having
They
a good
think they
time.
are, right? Their bills are paid and they get to go out on weekends and
Maybe.
yeah.
Sometimes that's a 50-50 right there, right? So
I
I
would say
didn't want to
90-10.
be.
90% is
Yeah,
not.
I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want that lifestyle. I wanted a different lifestyle for myself because I had saw it years
Mm,
ago,
mm,
or I've seen it also in circles that I was in.
yeah.
Again, put yourself where you see yourself. I see myself as a leader, so I want to be with leaders. I
Yeah.
see myself as a speaker on stage, so I want to be with speakers on stage. I see
Mhm.
myself as as that person and this type of person. So I have to be right
Yeah.
there at
Yeah.
all times. And that's why I say it's not professional and personal split up. It's
Mm,
got to intertwine,
yeah.
because if your personal life is a mess, then that bleeds over into professional. And I
Yes.
know that because I had some health issues for about a year now, and those
Mm,
health issues stopped me. Like I hit a brick wall. And when you hit that brick wall, your mindset goes, your
mm,
mental health starts to go, right?
yeah. Mm,
So again, it's all your personal, professional, all has to mix up and intertwine, and you've got to be good on both sides, and you've got to manifest,
yeah.
dream, vision, both
Mhm.
sides, life
Yeah.
and professional at the same time, and
Yeah.
build a plan where both of them can move forward at the
Yeah.
same time as well.
I love that, and there's a lot to unpack there. So first of all, I have had this partner join me. So I don't recruit agents to EXP. I say this publicly a lot, and only people that I partner with that they align with my vision, like the way I
Mhm.
see myself grow. They have those same vision, and they have to like see that in themselves to be able to come with me, and they have to approach me like, hey, I want to partner with you. So someone that joined me recently, we do this onboarding call, like this one-on-one call. We just sit and we just talk. We talk about vision. We talk about goals, and then I do like a social audit on the call, right? Like,
Mhm.
hey, let's look at all that vision and business and goals that you have for your business, where you want to be. Let's see if you're representing that publicly, right? So
Mm.
we were looking on his profile. He had his profile picture as his son. He had his banner as his family. Nowhere on his profile was reflective of the vision he talked about, right? So,
Mhm.
and he was, his thing was, well, my social media is about my family. It's about, people that I'm around. And, he had this hard time separating, or I guess like his vision, his in his mind, business and personal doesn't mix, right? And
Mhm.
it's a lot of times we take those things on by people that teach the wrong things, like blind
Mhm.
following blind, right? And I'm like, okay, let's show you mine, right? And you
Mhm.
tell me if my vision is reflective on my profile, and you tell me if my personal life is reflective on my profile too, right? Like, am I leaving that behind? Am I all about business, right? So we go through mine, and I show him like, hey, look, I shared a picture of me and my wife. I shared a
Mhm.
picture of me and my son. But look at the caption. Read that and tell me if it reflects my vision and what I am about, right? So
Yeah.
there has to be, to me, it's like your social presence. For first of all, like if you think that you're going to go anywhere into the future with your business, with your life, without the social presence, good luck, right? But like your social presence, your business and your personal has to be so intertwined that there has to be like a light gray line that people
Yes.
can hardly like separate, right? Like people, and if that makes some people say, oh, you're all about business, hey, those people are not me. Like they're not for me, right? Like if they don't see what I'm offering out there, what I'm putting out there, it's just not me. And I love what you said about manifestation, and I see this a lot, and that's the reason why I tried to make this a topic of the conversation.
Mhm.
So I was really 50-50 about which route you're going to go. And I love what you said, is that manifestation is not just about thinking it, it's doing it, right? It comes
Yeah.
hand in hand. And you gotta be what you want to have, right? So there's this hoorah, like, or definition of manifestation is like, oh, just think about it, just dream it,
Mhm.
just see it, and then it will come to you. No, it's not going to come to you if you act like it, right? And
Yeah.
my definition of prayer, and a lot of people might not agree, is that prayers don't work if you don't, right? Like, prayers don't work if you
Mhm.
don't. So you can't, and in all, like, transparency, right? And it might offend some people, is that it's an insult to God that you pray to, that you don't do something about your prayer, right? You're
Yes.
insulting him by you're challenging him. You're challenging him, like, I want to be successful, I want to make 100,000 or $1 million, whatever it might be. Your prayer
Mhm.
could be, right? I want to, have the financial freedom for my family. I want to build a legacy, all that stuff. And then you're sitting on your couch watching Netflix, right? You're literally challenging God that do something about it, right? Like, I asked for
Yeah.
it. Let's see if you could do it. I'll give you all the challenges. I'll actually be the hurdle in acceptance of that prayer. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So you gotta, whatever it is that you want, however you look at it, right? You're praying to the universe, or you're praying to the God. Just pray to God. But like, you gotta do something about it. You gotta take action, right?
Yep.
And if you take action and you leave it to God, right? Like, the
Yeah.
results will come from God ultimately, right? But if you don't have action, forget about the results. You can't even leave it to God at that point. So I love it. I love this conversation. Now,
Good.
can you share a moment where, 22 years of experience in the industry, right? And incredible achievements that you have had, right? What kept you going during the highs and the lows of your time?
To be honest with you, I want my children to be able to brag about having me as their mom. I want my grandchildren to be able to, I want somebody to go to my grandchildren later and they be like, oh, my grandmother is Nakia Evans. And they be like, oh, what?
Oh.
I want that effect. I
Mm,
want that legacy. I want somebody, if somebody says, oh, your mom helped me in 2018 rediscover myself.
yeah.
I want to make an impact
Mm,
that is seen, heard, and felt
yeah.
all around the world on many different people,
Yeah.
not just the same person over and over and over, or not just because you worked with me or you was my business partner and I was going to make money because you made money. I want my life's story to be reflected upon diversity,
Mm,
inclusion,
yeah.
servant leadership,
Yeah.
and just happiness,
Yeah.
fun. Like, I want somebody to say they had fun with me, I impacted their life, and I want them to be able to say this years later. I want
Yeah.
somebody to remember the time when, remember that, just like when we started the call, I talked to Nakia and then she's on stage. I want you to remember that time, and that when she was on stage, she said one thing that helped me.
Mm,
Actually, before I got on stage this week on Wednesday or Thursday, weeks all messed up.
yeah.
When I got on stage that day, on that Monday, somebody had inboxed me on Facebook and told me that they were impacted when I spoke at Build in 2022 in Dallas. And she was sending me a booklet
Yeah.
on Airbnb, being successful in Airbnb. You know how we give away free stuff? She was giving away free information about a checklist or something for Airbnb. And so I had signed up for it, not knowing that she was in the audience when I spoke 2 years ago.
Mm,
So that's
wow.
the other thing in my life too. I want to help people that can help me also. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to work with people that I can help and that can help me. I like a reciprocal relationship.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you develop that
Mm,
in your circle
mm,
of influence, and in your entrepreneurship journey. You
yeah.
don't always want to be at the head of the table. You want to
Yeah.
sit at the table with others that can pour into you as much as you can pour into them. And you
Yeah.
never know where you're going to find them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never
And
know where you can find them.
Wow, that is such a great why. That is gonna be a funeral to be. That is gonna be a funeral to be. I mean, we are gonna all die. Like I laugh about it and joke about it. We are
Yes,
all gonna die. No
right.
one's gonna live here forever, right? But that is gonna be a funeral to be. That's gonna be a funeral where people are gonna just gonna if that is the operating system, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is the mindset you operate with. There will be some great things people are going to talk about, and there'll be some great people in that funeral, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I get a lot of agents that are like, I don't know what's my why. I don't know, I just can't get myself to move, right? I just can't get myself to do the things that I need to do to get my business forward, and I just don't know how to get there. And there's this activity I do with them, like, hey, how about, you take the day off, right? And
Mm-hmm.
think about your funeral. What do you want in that, right?
Ooh,
What do you
that's
what do you what do you who do you want to show up, what it's gonna look like, write it in very detail, and let's talk tomorrow, right? And usually gets people moving, right? Because they start thinking about dying, like what are the things
Mhm,
that you're gonna leave your family with and all that stuff, right? So now could you though share with me a major setback that you have faced in
mhm,
your career and how
mhm.
you used it to propel yourself forward?
Let me think. So, I'm actually in the middle of one. I'll talk about this one that I'm in the middle of because it's
Yeah.
it's like people don't talk about it. So I'm a female. I am approaching 50 years old.
Mm.
There's this lovely little thing called menopause,
Yeah.
and it's really more than just the word menopause. It's a health issue for women.
Mm.
It
Mm.
affects many things, many functions, many operations. It affects not only your physical health but your mental health.
Mental. Mm.
Yes, so that it actually started affecting me in 2022, and I knew it, but I did not know or understand that it affects so many functions
Mm.
of your body. So I wasn't ignoring it, but I wasn't attributing it to what was going on with me.
Mm.
So I started not being able to do certain things, or I started having pain
Mm.
and not being able to do some things. My mental health started to decline. I didn't want to do certain things that I used to want to do,
Yeah.
or I just didn't do things. And then let me just go above and beyond how it affects me. It affects people around you because they don't know what's going on. It is a hidden disease.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
Yeah.
I can call it that. It's a hidden illness. It's a hidden something, right? I don't
Yeah.
know what the exact words are for it.
Condition. Let's call it condition. You can't change it.
Yeah, it's a hidden condition. So many people don't even see it, or if they see changes in you, they don't believe that that's the reason.
Mm.
Okay, so I've had that going on for 2 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 years, and it got to the point it started affecting my health. I had to see doctors. Couple weeks ago, I think 2 to 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks now, I couldn't walk. It affects your joints, and you yourself forget about it. Like when I woke up, or when I was going to sleep, and my hip went out completely. My left leg would not function. So a muscle and a nerve and a joint all did something at the same time, and my leg would not work. I could not walk. I couldn't move.
Wow.
I couldn't get up. I couldn't crawl. I couldn't do anything.
Mm.
Right? And my whole body got weak. I didn't attribute that to menopause. I
Yeah.
just thought maybe I lifted up something, so my back was hurting,
Mm.
but it's something that is hard to explain. It's something
Yeah.
that's hard to understand. It's something that's hard to manage. And until you get there, you don't know. And then it goes right back to when I said your personal affects
Yeah.
your professional.
Yeah.
Um, like it's like over the last 2 years, I didn't understand why I didn't want to do this, or why
Yeah.
I felt like that, or why I was in this mood, or why I had given up. Because I'm not
Mm.
the person to give up,
Yeah.
right? Or I didn't know why I stopped doing this. Like I had a routine, I was disciplined.
Yeah.
every day I did this, this, and I didn't know why I stopped. Like,
Mhm.
till somebody says, well, you're just lazy. Lazy. I'm not lazy. I just can't. Like, and it's hard to explain why
Yeah.
you can't,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So that's been my biggest roadblock in my career. Even though that was personal,
Yeah.
it really transferred over into my professional business, my professional life, is
Mm.
because I was going through that, and I'm still am, because right now
Mhm.
I'm just so hot.
Yeah.
That it really just affects both sides
Yeah.
of your life and your lifestyle.
Yeah, I say this all the time where we have to build a business around life and not a life around business, right? When you
Mhm.
build a life around business, when life gets in the way, business gets stuck, right? But
Yes.
when you build a business around life, life comes first, right? So
Yes.
imagine you did that for the last 20 years where you
Mhm.
gave priority to life and business came around it, right? So whatever came, your priorities are at the different stages of life. You're just going through a season, right? You're just
Yeah.
going through a chapter. There'll be a next one and a next one and a next one and a next one. If every step of the way life gets in the way and business gets stuck, that's struggle, right? But
Yeah.
if every step of the way you gave life a priority and
Mhm.
business was just living around that, right? If life does get in the way where your hip gives out, hey, business would be running because you're prepared for it. You have
Yes.
built a business, so if life does get in the way, you got things and infrastructures and resources and people in your business that will continue to keep it going, right? So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that. That's definitely
Mhm.
a key factor a lot of people ignore, right? A lot of people,
Mhm.
oh, I just gotta go get successful now and I'll pay attention to life later. And we're all guilty. I'm guilty
Mhm.
too, right?
Yeah.
That's what caused me to start a team in 2020 when I realized, like, wow, I'm making more money than anyone has ever made in my generation. But I am super unhappy with life, right?
Yes.
My wife is unhappy. I'm spending less than an hour with my newborn son. He was like 1 year old back then. I can't have that. Like I could repeat it in my business year over year, every single year, 90 house, 100 house, 150 house. But like, would I have a life? Would I have a wife? Right?
Yeah.
Would I have any of the things that actually keeps me going? What I'm doing it for? Right? So we definitely got to take that into consideration. Now, what led you to join the XP in 2020, and how has the company's model aligned with your vision for business?
Oh, that was like the perfect transition, because just what you just said. So I was a brokerage manager. I was the vice president of an office of a
Oh,
branch
fancy,
for
fancy.
an international company
Yeah.
that was in my area, right? So I had a brokerage, 83 agents at the time, January, well, it wasn't even January of 2020, May of 2020, right? During COVID, I had time to reflect. We had a lot
Mm.
of time on our hands because so many changes. We were locked down, locked
Yeah,
in. In Baltimore, we couldn't leave the house unless it was this. So we had to have a
yeah.
governor's order, that kind of
You
thing. So
couldn't, yeah, for us in Michigan, we couldn't show houses. We still showed houses. We didn't care about
right, right, right. Don't tell anybody.
I'll tell it. Like, hey,
but
I don't want you as
it
my
was
governor. That's why I didn't hear you.
right. Yeah, we actually had to get a governor's order, and our real estate board. I was a part of our real estate board at the time. I was an officer of the board. We had to go to legislative session to get an emergency petition for us to become what was the word?
First
Yeah,
responders are
we had to get that level.
essential workers. Yeah,
Essential workers, yes.
yeah.
So our board of realtors went to the government and got us to, we became essential workers, right?
Mm,
But during that time, I was the branch manager, so I wasn't selling. I was a non-competing branch manager. I was just supervising.
mm,
And I had time to reflect. During that time, I got a call from an EXP agent, just saw me in a magazine. I was in a magazine. I was on Inman, an article, a Real Trends magazine. An article about me was featured like a year or so before about being a manager who was setting records with recruiting
mm,
to the office. So he had read that article, Rich Thomasini, shout out to Rich Thomasini. He read that article and he contacted me and he was like, hey, I call around the world. I get to know agents. I'm not calling you because I'm telling you to quit your job. I know you got a good job. It's paying you good. You're probably happy. But if anything ever happens, I want you to look at EXP as a second option, a second choice, or the next choice, the next phase in your life, in your business. Because, hey, if you could build up that brokerage, you can build up your own brokerage with the help of this brokerage. It's kind of opposite. And he was like, why don't you take a look? And I said, okay, because I was bored. And we all know how that goes. When boredom strikes, we just do watch. And I didn't watch TV that much.
Downward spiral. Boredom is the starting point. Yeah.
Right. So getting on a Zoom call or getting on YouTube watching videos was my entertainment, right? Especially if it was about real estate. That was my entertainment. So I made the mistake of getting on a Zoom call and hearing this information, taking notes, looking back at those notes, running some numbers. And I was like, wow, yeah, this could be for me. Once I learned about it, I told you I was in network marketing and direct sales, right? So real estate management, team leadership, and network marketing. Again, look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh. So I was like, okay. I'm not going to quit this job, though, because I love this job. I'm having the best time of my life, except now I'm bored just because of what's going on. There's nothing.
There was no branch to manage.
Right. Yeah, I'm bored right now. But I'm going to put this in my back pocket. And if anything ever happens or when I'm ready to go to the next step in life, this is going to be it. And little did Rich know, or little did I know at the time, is that time was going to come in a few months.
Wow.
So taking a look at all of that and doing all of this on my, I was turning 45 years old. And on my 45th birthday, I decided, or leading up to my 45th birthday, I decided that I would retire from corporate employment and I would go ahead and build my own brokerage at EXP. And again, I manifested it. I saw it. I visioned it. I worked the numbers. I wrote down people. I manifested what our team would look like. We took some team photos before the time. Like I put this all together. Like I did, I visited Rich and his team in Charlotte to check them out in person. I did a lot to check things out. And I just got here some kind of way. I looked at those numbers. I looked at the presentation. It worked for my future vision of myself and other people. Because again, this is a team sport. When you come into EXP, it's a team, it's a partnership. So I had to talk to people and people agreed, like, yeah, this might be it for us. So we did a thing. Like people say on the internet, we did a thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think it for me, what sounds like it is just being able to look at the opportunity with an open mind, right? There's so many agents out there like, oh, I already heard about EXP. Oh, someone already pitched me, right? Yeah. Have you looked at it from your perspective for what you want and what you want to achieve?
Right. Yeah. Whenever I'm talking to somebody about EXP, I don't even talk about EXP first. I need to know what your business looks like, what vision for your business looks like. What do you see in the future for your business or your career? I call it a career first because I want them to tell me it's a business. Then I'll know. I don't want to tell them it's a business. I have to find out from them if this is going to be a business. I love that. Not. Yep. So I just tell me, what time you have, how much time you have for this, what you plan to do, what you're going to do, what is it? I don't even ask about selling houses because ultimately I want to know what you're going to do. I want you to tell me everything and I just listen. And, I take notes, of course, and then we have a conversation based upon what they want, what they need, and what they're going to do, and what they want to do, and what they need to do, and what they need to happen in their life, plus what has went on in their life previously. Like the newest person on my team joined this week, or my network, I'll say that, joined this week. He was a teacher, an educator around the world, not
Mhm.
just in the United States, around the world. So me knowing that when we do sit down for that onboarding call, when we sit
Yeah.
down and have our let's get started meeting, I've joined, now what? I can help him realize that he could use some of his past experiences and create an action plan,
Yeah.
create a who's who list, create a to-do list, and kind of manifest
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
business, manifest his future in this business. And that
Leveraging his
comes from
past.
listening. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, that
Yeah.
comes from listening. I don't need you to know EXP. I need to know you.
Yeah.
And then we need to discover together what is here at EXP that will help you reach your milestones,
Yeah.
your goals, your dreams, your wants, and your needs.
Wow.
Then we take it from there.
That's amazing. So you just opened a can of worm for me. So anyone's listening, if she's your vibe, you need to reach out to her because she's gonna get you success. Okay. So some of the things that we do part of our academy is we don't sell it to anyone. That's
Mhm.
the first thing. Like, hey, if someone comes ever like, and I get these messages a lot. What's the cost? What's the price of your software, or your AI thing, or your program, or your coaching? I'm like, I don't know. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know what's the cost because I don't even know you. Who are you? Like, what do you need, right? And I did this experiment very recently, and I'm dropping a YouTube video on this. And a lot of these big companies, including EXP, will be fired up about that. Is that I did this before I came to EXP, and I did this while I'm in EXP. So it's not a bias against EXP or any other company. Someone might think, oh, you're trying to put out other companies that are competing with EXP. Like, hey, I did this with EXP. I have got pitched 24 times before I decided to join EXP voluntarily, right? So I went on social media, I went into groups, and I said, I'm thinking about joining EXP. Who has the best upline, right? And people reached out to me. I even traveled. I traveled to Chuck Fazio in Arizona. I got on Zoom calls with 24 people before I said yes, right? You're the person, right? And guess what? The person that I chose actually didn't even recruit me. He actually connected with someone else who would be good fit for me, right?
Mhm.
And so that whole mindset is that bringing people on that is a good fit for you, and bringing people that on that you could help, or how you would help them, right? So with that thinking, recently I went and said, why is real LPT Epic better than EXP, and who is the best upline out there, right? I
Mhm.
got like ran over by a bus, obviously, right? And I got on like 8 different calls, and these calls are recorded, so it will be part of my whole YouTube experiment. And every single one of them, there was only one call actually that was little closer to what I would be an ideal recruiting call, right? But
Mhm.
all the other ones, they were all about why LPT is better than EXP, why
Mhm.
Real is better than EXP, why Epic is better than EXP. And every single one of them, by the end of the call, they said, "What do you think? You think this company is for you?" I said, I don't know. I don't know how this benefits me. And they asked, how does it benefit me? I was like, you tell me. And they couldn't say it. They couldn't say how their model benefited me. It was the whole conversations about, well, the reason why, this company is better than this company is because this reasons, right? And a lot of them were ex-EXP agents, right? So they know all the ins and out of EXP. So they thought they had an advantage over me, right? But end of the day, this is my thought process, and this is what I teach to my agents, team leaders, brokers in our academy. But
Mhm.
even when it comes to buyers and sellers, right? You don't go
Mhm.
get buyers and sellers because they're just out there looking. They just out there ready to move, right? How
Mhm.
do you know you could help them just because you have a license? Just because you have 22 years of experience? How do you know you're the person, right? Oh, because there is a commission at the end of this deal, right? You're the right fit. Oh, the money is green everywhere, the mindset, right? Like, oh, doesn't
Right.
matter what type of agents they are, as long as I bring them in and they sell houses, money is green, right?
Mhm.
So what we teach is uh, a lot more technical. Like I'm very technical when it comes to like putting together frameworks, right?
Mhm.
So first of all, you have to have connection. You have to meet them where they are. So if you're
Yes.
having a recruiting conversation, first thing you need to do is making sure that they understand that it's not gonna happen if it's not a good fit, right? Meaning like, hey, I have nothing to sell you. I have nothing to recruit you to. This conversation is about us learning about each other first before we talk
Mhm.
about if the company is a good fit. Like meeting them where they are, that has to happen. Same thing with buyers and sellers, meeting them where they are, letting them know like, hey, I don't know if this is gonna work out for us together. We just
Mhm.
have a let's just have a conversation for what's your need, right? Then you have to find out what problems do they have, right? What's not working for them right now,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
What do they
Mhm.
need to change, or what do they love about where they are, right? What do they love about their current home? What do they love about their current brokerage? And what do
Mhm.
they not love about it, right? And then you have to find out what solutions they think is the solution for them, right?
Yeah.
What do you think you need to be able to change what you need to change, right? Or what have you tried before to be able to change? A lot of times when you try to find what they think is the right solution, you will find this person's not even motivated to change their situation.
Mhm.
You will find that they're not even looking at this as
Right.
they're thinking they're chasing shiny objects, right? They're just thinking making this brokerage switch or hiring this next agent will get their house sold, right? Like just because they have, oh, you have a big community, you have 3,000 agents under you, must be for me, right? Like, but how does that, like, just changing brokerage change your situation if you're not
Mm.
really looking for a solution, right? What consequences do they face if they don't solve the problem? A lot of
Right.
them won't be able to tell you there is a consequence, right? If they're
Mm.
not telling you, there is no consequence, I have to make this work. If I don't make this work, it would mean I have to go find a job, and it's not even an option for me, right?
Right.
I cannot find another job. I have to make this work. They're not the right people for you, right? Like you can't help them help themselves,
Right.
because they already have a plan B in mind. Oh, I'm just gonna, if I don't solve these problems, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. It doesn't really hurt me, right? Like, oh, I'm paying my bills, it's okay, right? Then you won't, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter if it's a new broker, it doesn't matter if it's a, new program, doesn't matter what
Mhm.
fancy thing they get, what most effective
Right.
coach and partner, all of that doesn't matter because they're comfortable, right? They don't
Right.
have any consequences to be able to improve themselves, right? And lastly, you need to find out why do they need it now, right? Like,
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
do they have to have it now, rather than, why haven't they? This is one of the questions I ask. You can ask it two different ways. What are you not willing to do, right? What are
Mhm.
you not willing to
Mhm.
do to get to where you want to go, right? What are you not willing to do? Or you could ask it more nicely. Is that I don't know the nice way because I'm not nice, but what are you
Yeah.
what is it that you're willing to give up? So what are you willing to
Yeah.
give up? I
Mhm.
ask you, like, what are you not willing to do, right? What are you
Okay.
willing to give up to be able to achieve the goals that you have, right?
Right.
And in that question, you will find people that are serious will tell you straight up,
Mhm.
like, I'm not willing to cold call, right? I'm not
Right.
willing to get on social media. That's okay, right? At least they know what are
Mhm.
they not willing to do. There is no one way to the heaven, right? There is
Right.
50,000 different ways, but at
Right.
least you know that this person has seriously considered what it takes to become successful, and they know what they're not willing to do, so at least you can make them walk the other paths, right? But if they're
Right.
like, oh, I can't think of anything that I'm not willing to do, they're not serious. you
Right.
know so, but
Right.
anyway, before it's great that you actually brought this up, and it's great that I have people and there are others I have come across in EXP in the
Mhm.
last 2.5 years that actually take this route, where they
Mhm.
actually look into what is the vision for this person, what do you want for your business on your life, right? Before I talk about why I'm the person, right? Everyone's so good at like saying like, oh, why you should reach out to me, right? Call
Mhm.
me if you want to partner with anyone with EXP, and not very people taking the approach like, would this person last with me, right?
Right.
Can they walk with me, right? And
Right.
usually those are the same people that have hard time getting repeat business from their clients, or keeping their agents with them, right, long
Yeah.
enough to actually help people. But I love it. I love this conversation.
Yeah.
This has been amazing. Now, I'm still not done, right? Like as a leader, team builder, what are the key qualities that you look for when you are helping agents grow their business? What do you think?
Um, First is motivation. I mean, I know it's motivation, and I'll say motivation and dedication. Basically,
Commitment.
yeah,
Yeah.
commitment. Yeah,
Yeah.
commitment. People with a vision or
Mm,
why.
mm,
Because like you said, if you don't have that,
yeah.
then what? What is it going to be?
Mm,
I'm looking. I'm looking, even though it's hard, to
yeah.
find somebody that is pretty much like me. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard to
Mm,
find yourself in other people because there's only one you, number one. So I'm not
yeah.
looking for anybody to be just like me, but willing to do or willing not to do
Yeah.
something. Again,
Yeah.
like you said, like this whole conversation that we just had
Mm,
really takes me into who am I looking for? Who do I want to be in business with? I'm looking for somebody that wants the next level, wants to grow. Like
mm,
I'm looking for somebody that wants to be uncomfortable, wants to challenge themselves.
yeah.
I'm not looking for a champion. I'm looking
Mm,
for someone who wants to become
mm,
a champion because
yeah.
then we can grow together. We can
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
together. We can fight to the next level together. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the best person in the world. I'm looking for somebody who has on their list of
Yeah.
activities,
Yeah.
their list of goals to become the best at
Hmm.
something, not everything.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for the person who is everything to everybody. I like to have, I want to call you for this. I want to
Mm,
call you for this. I want to call you for this. I want somebody that has a specialty,
yeah.
that has that knows who their audience is. Because that's the other thing.
Mm, mm,
Who is your audience? Who are you going to sell to? Who are you talking to? It's
yeah.
a big question when people on social media ask, "Who are you talking to on social media?" Everybody, anybody that's scrolling through. Well, stop.
Yeah. Stop being so desperate, right?
Yeah, you're messing up, right? So, who is it? I want to work with a person who knows what they are looking for,
Yeah. Mm,
but doesn't know how or doesn't
mm,
know the steps that it takes
mm.
to get to where they want to go. Because if we can discover that together and climb together, then we're going to be a good fit.
Yeah, that would and having that commitment to begin with is a good start. But here's a hard question for you, right?
Mhm.
How do you think you can find, like you mentioned, those people?
Oh, it's the hardest thing in the world. I'm gonna tell you though, how you find that person
Mhm. Yeah.
is authenticity,
Mm,
being open
yeah.
and honest and transparent
Yeah.
about who you are.
Mm,
Because if people don't know who I am, they're not going to show me who they are. They're not going to tell me
yeah.
who they
Mm.
are.
They're not
So
gonna open up.
transparency, honesty, being authentic, showcasing who
Mm,
I am. Again, these videos, these interviews, talking
yeah.
to people, having people
Showing up,
understand.
consistency.
Yes,
Mm,
showing up. Just being in the room, being where the people that I'm looking for are,
yeah. Yeah.
being there, talking, expressing it. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't even know what you want or what you need unless you say it. So again, you got to say it. You got to
Yeah.
put it out there. You have to tell the world what you want
Mm,
so that you can get it. Or believe it or not, somebody else knows somebody that needs to know you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Referrals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
And
somebody knows who I'm looking for because they know me and they know who I am. So if I can show the world who I am, somebody out there, even if it's not that direct person, is going to find or want to locate the person that I'm looking for and put us together. Not that's my way of
I
doing
love
this.
it. I love that answer. And something that I learned through one of my coach in marketing that taught me is
Mhm.
that build a niche I don't know, as soon as I say this, if you know him, you know who it is. Build a niche so small that only you fit in it.
Oh, I like that. I like
Build
that.
a niche so small, be more so specific with your niche that only you could fit in it. So what are those characteristics of that niche? No one knows that better than you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now how do I find those people? Just be it. Just be
Yeah.
it. Put it out there. Put
Mm-hmm.
it out there like it's nobody's business, right? So
Yes.
what keeps those people up at night? Only you know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
What are the problems are they
Mhm.
running from? What are the pain points of their life? What are the desires that keeps them up at night? Or what are the desires that wakes them up middle of the night, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Only you know that. No one else knows that,
Yes.
right?
I love it.
Now be careful with it though, right? Like if you're a
Mhm.
crazy person, you're gonna have a lot of crazy people. I'm just, you know, you're gonna get it, right? Like if
Uh-huh.
you truly want someone that's just like you, it's very easy to get it. It's not that hard. You just gotta be it, and you just gotta be it more consistently, right? So for a lot of people, they do be it, they're just not showing up consistently enough for other people to see it, right? You
Oh, yeah.
have to always assume they haven't seen it, so you
Yeah.
gotta keep showing up every single day, right? Something I started doing recently, and it just like blew up on my social
Mhm.
platform, except for Instagram. I don't know, Instagram's shadow banning me, I feel like. um we started posting 5 to 7 times a day, right? Five
Okay.
to seven times a day using AI, right? This interview will be chopped into 25 different pieces of content, and for the next 25 weeks, people are going to see this interview over and over and over and over again, right? So some of those tools we are using is helping us be out there. But in that experience over the last, I would say, 2.5 years, I went organic. Before that, my whole business was built on paid traffic.
Mhm.
And in that experience, what I have found is that people open up to you when you share your problems, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I have had, and she's gonna hear it. And I'm not gonna mention her name, so I'm protecting her privacy. Someone's reached out to me sharing how she was molested, like when she was, and she wrote like essays that I read through. She was sharing stuff. Even she apologized that she apologized. She did why she didn't know why she shared, right? Is
Mhm.
because on my public post I shared stuff that are vulnerable, right? On my,
Mhm.
I put myself out there, so it made her comfortable to put herself. She can't do that publicly, at least she did it privately, right?
Right.
I have had people, like, I share all the time, like I have severe ADHD, and this is how I deal with it. People always reach out to me and share that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a little crazy, like I don't hold my
Mhm.
tongue. When I have to say something, I say it. So that those are the type of people I attract, is people who are not, who
Right.
are fearless, right? People don't
Yeah.
care about what other people are gonna think, and those are my type of people. I can't stand people that hold their tongue when
Uh-huh.
they should say something, right?
Oh,
If I
yeah.
run into situations like that, I actually call that person out. Like, hey, you need to say
Right.
something now. That was not cool, right? Like what just happened, right? But anyway, like what advice would you give for agents and brokers who want to build a business that can withstand the shifts that we are going through, right? Market changes and
Mhm.
industry changes that we're going through. What would be your advice?
My advice is probably to work on yourself
Hmm.
even more than you've worked on your business,
Wow, that's
and
powerful.
then blend it
Mhm.
together. So you got about you got about a 40% you've been working on your business. So work on yourself
Mhm.
80%,
Yeah.
and then blend that, add it together, and now you've got 120%, right?
Wow. Wow.
But if you are almost to like what you say, life comes first. Like we've
Mm.
been working on our business 80% and
Yeah.
ourselves 40%. Now
Yeah.
we've got that 120, but is it the 120
Yeah.
that we need?
Mm.
No, it's not the 120 we need. It's
Yeah.
the 120 that somebody has told us that
Yeah.
we need it.
Mhm.
It's the wrong way.
Yeah.
You can take two, the GPS can take you two different ways. You know
Yeah.
how they tell you to go this way, but if you go this way, you'll still get there, but you're going to be 3 minutes slower.
Late. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 3 minutes slower. You'll get there. But so if you work on yourself, if you put your life first, your life, your lifestyle, your development of your life, your mental health, your physical health, your mindset, if you put all of that first, I can guarantee you
Yeah.
that your business is going to follow.
Mm.
I can guarantee you. I just guarantee you. I don't know how or why. I mean, I
Yeah.
know why, but I don't
Yeah.
know how to
How? Yeah.
explain
Yeah. Yeah.
the how. I don't know how to explain the who, what, when, why, and how. I'm
Yeah.
just telling you to do it
Yeah. Yeah.
and then contact us. Or if you see this video on YouTube or wherever you see this video, comment that
Mm.
you've done it and it's worked. So other people
Yeah.
will know it's working. It's just not Nakia
Yeah.
saying it. But I
Hey,
can guarantee you
I'll
your
give a
life will work.
challenge. Okay, how about this? You do
Mhm.
it, and if it doesn't work, comment. Okay, I'm not nice.
Okay.
Okay, if it doesn't work, then comment. Okay.
Yes, yes, yeah. But I
I love that advice.
ultimately that's my thing now. And again, it flipped. When that flipped, or when
Mhm.
I was able to flip that, because I know we gotta go, but I was able to flip that, moving from where I was to now
Yeah,
being at EXP.
I love
I'm
that.
able to be the parent now to my grown kids that I
Mhm.
wasn't able to be when they were young because I was
Mhm.
working so
Yeah,
hard to make sure they had everything they needed, they wanted. I didn't know that this lifestyle existed. And so
mm,
now I'm going to be willing to
yeah,
do stuff
yeah,
and to
yeah,
be not
yeah,
willing to do stuff in order to get everything I want, in order to get everything I need. And that's just how I live my life, and
yeah.
my business is following.
Yeah. I
And my
love
business
that. I
is
love that
supporting.
advice so much. You have no
Mhm.
idea. Like my philosophy, if you work on your life 80% and you work on improving your business 20%, you will be successful,
Yes.
right? My
Wow.
philosophy is the game is 90% mental and
Mm-hmm.
10% skill
Yes.
set. Okay.
Yes.
So if you're in a good
Mhm.
position mentally, you
Yeah.
only need a little bit of skills because the
Yes.
competition sucks. There are
Yes.
people out there that are going out there chasing people. They're operating on a scarcity mindset, right? So
Yes.
you just need to be a little bit more abundant, right? And what you just said is all abundance, right? Like just know that put the life in front of the business. If the life is in the right place, the business follows, right? It
Yes.
comes from an abundance mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly operate by this is that every single bird goes out from their nest every single day, comes back full stomach. Not only full stomach, it brings back food for its chicks, right?
Huh?
That's how we should be, right?
Yes.
We just gotta make sure we do. See, birds don't have the choice. They're created that way, so they go out
Yep.
there, do the hunt, look for food where they need to look for, right? Us, we have this curse of free thinking, and we go waste that potential and do the wrong thing. So that's why we come back home
Mhm.
empty stomach,
Yeah.
hungry, and like the whole household hungry, right? So it's like
Right.
I truly believe you rely on God that way, and you actually go out there, do the right things, right, with your time, with your energy and
Yeah.
effort. There's no way you can come back empty stomach. If that was the case, we would see birds falling off the sky hungry
Mhm.
till couldn't eat, right?
Mhm.
Like so if you are operating on that scarcity where you are not getting what you need to get is because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? So I love
Right.
that advice. Now there's a lot of fear. I know you we're going way over time now, but I love this conversation. That's why I'm going to continue until I have to really really go in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Now my question, there's a lot of fear in the marketplace, right? There's a
Mhm.
lot of people that are afraid. They're looking the other way. They're looking,
Mhm.
they're putting their head in the sand, like wishing all these problems to go away, right? And or looking for another job, right? Like based on sounds like to me that you have faced a lot of that for you to be where you are. You have, obviously like
Mhm.
losing your fear of like losing that job and coming to EXP, there gotta be a fear factor there, right?
Yeah.
That you had to accomplish. So how did you or how would you advise agents to overcome some of these fears and doubts when
Mhm.
pursuing big goals and some strategies that they can use?
Well, first of all, they've got to stop the negativity from entering into
Mm,
their world, entering into their mind, entering into their heart. If you can get rid of that negativity, and I'll tell you the number one way is that scroll. You gotta stop the scroll, number one, because that's where fear is instilled in us. Not our
No.
friends, not our family, because some of them, well, I won't say friends, but our family, they don't know what's going on. Not
Mm,
our clients, they don't, all of them don't really know what's going on, right? But it is our peers that are in the industry or scared people
mm,
are entering into our mindset.
mm,
We're allowing the scared people to dictate to us where we're going to go. We're letting them manifest for us. If you
mm,
can at least stop that noise and again go into some personal development, professional development, go into the right rooms, go into the right conversations, talk to the right people.
mm.
Facebook doesn't have all the answers. You can ask Facebook for a mechanic. You can ask Facebook for a plumber. You can ask Facebook for a home inspector. You can ask Facebook for a restaurant. But you should not be asking Facebook, what is the law? What is the rights? Should I be a member of this? Or should I get my information from here? You should not be asking Facebook all of these questions. Number
Yeah.
one. So if you get rid of the negativity and get rid of the outside fear, half, if not all of yours, will just flow out and go away. You got to put positive in to get
Mm,
positive out. If
yeah.
you're putting all of this negativity in, it's hard to fight out of that.
Mm,
Like it's so hard to fight out of. It's easier to grow something than to fight out of something. Okay.
mm,
It's
mm,
easier to go up without resistance. Like think about the airplanes, they go up when that wind is blowing back towards them, the
mm,
airplane's a little shaky, right? But when it's just smooth air, it's flowing, right? So it's hard to go up against something. So really the first thing is to get out of the wrong places, get rid of the negativity, stop the scroll, or get out of them groups. I say it all the time. Get out of those. I had to delete so many groups. And then go into the right places. Like for real estate agents who are members of NAR, we should be directly communicating or directly reading stuff
yeah.
or downloading stuff from NAR, who we
Mm,
paid our membership money to, right? Did you pay your membership money to Susie in Idaho? So why would you ask Susie in Idaho how to talk to a buyer in Charlotte, North Carolina? She ain't never been here. She ain't never went to real estate school here. She don't know the answers. Call the real estate commission. Call your broker in charge, your manager. Talk to somebody who is familiar or more familiar with or going through the same thing that you're going through, because then y'all can put your fears together, but you can also dispel those fears together.
mm, yeah.
That's just something, but not, you can't do that with Susie over in Idaho. Okay. You, you gotta, like, Susie may not be as motivated as you. Susie probably didn't have buyer agency contracts or buyer agency agreements before all of this happened. You know,
Yeah.
you don't know, you shouldn't be talking to a stranger trying to
Yeah.
resolve problems in your life.
Wow. Wow. Well, you putting out some of my secrets. So this is one of the way we get like 150,000 people engaged with our personal profile is by
Uh-huh.
asking questions, kind of like edgy questions like, oh, buyer did this, what do you do? And all these, there's like over 100 comments every single post. So we do one post a day inside of Facebook groups where all these agents interact
Uh-huh.
with our profile. We then retarget them with ads, right? So
So
uh,
are
uh,
you the anonymous member in those
no, no,
groups
not
that I've
anonymous.
been
We do it. We
shaking
do
my
it. We
head
do it like as my profile because we
at?
want them to actually interact.
Okay.
And 95% of the answers are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah,
don't respond. We could increase the engagement by responding to them, right? But we don't
right.
even have to. Like agents are so triggered to try to explain and answer.
Ooh.
Just sending a message to my next meeting. Okay,
Oh,
that was so much gold in that one session. But lastly, what you mentioned, you gotta watch what you're consuming so you
Yes,
can inputting, you can output, right? This is something we
yes.
teach to our agents in our academy. We actually give them a tracker for first 30 days. They literally track what they have consumed negatively with their five senses, with their
Wow,
eyes, with their tongues, with their ears, with their touch, right? You gotta track that so you can identify the patterns that are keeping you stuck.
wow.
Otherwise, it you won't be able to fix that, right? You won't be able to turn those negatives into positive. You can't just stop the negatives, you have to replace it with a positive, right?
Yes,
So first you
yes.
have to identify what are the negatives, and
Mm.
then you can edit those negatives and replace them with positives. Then you create new patterns. The process of change is always the same. Identify the patterns that are wrong, edit the patterns, and replace them with positive patterns, right? that's
Right,
that's change for you, right? This is how you change something. You can never just stop something. Smoking, you can't just stop smoking, you got to do
right.
something else instead of it, so that way you can have a healthy habit. But anyway, Nakia, I do have to go, but I
Okay.
appreciate you so much. That's so much, ton of content, ton of value for our community that you have contributed to. I now have to bring you back for sure. Like anytime I
Yes.
go over time with someone, I have to bring them back. So I'll definitely reach out and I'll see how we can collaborate. You have a lot of things that you're teaching out there, agents, that could be a positive contribution to our community. So I appreciate that. Appreciate your time and appreciate everything you're doing. Let me know how I can contribute to what you're doing.
Okay, I sure will. I look forward to our next conversation. And again, thank you for having me. This is
Yeah.
the highlight. I love this stuff. I love talking, if you couldn't
Yeah.
tell. But I can't wait to see some of the replay.
Yeah, for sure. And are you coming to EXPCon?
I am, yes.
All right, I'll see you up there. I'll see you up there.
Okay.
I'm gonna be at the black, what is it? The yacht party. So
Okay.
hopefully you also join us. Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Good.
yeah. All right. Cool. All
All
right.
right.
I'll see you. Bye.
Thank you. Okay. Bye bye.